Story 1. I, 26 female, and my boyfriend, 25 male, are about to move together when he tells me he's unhappy that I can't drink. We started out living in the same place, but then I had a move for work, so we've been long distance for some time. Finally, I got the opportunity for an internal transfer so we could be in the same place. We picked Dallas, Texas to move to together for various reasons: cost of living, the chance at good in-state tuition for grad school, job opportunities, amount of transplants, weather, plus he had some friends already living there. He had a great job, got a place, and moved down a few weeks ago. My transfer was just accepted, so I was preparing to move down in another few weeks. He was so happy and excited at the news, or made a good show of it if not, and said he couldn't wait to have me there. I was counting down the days. Cut to today, he says he's been having a blast reconnecting with his old friends. They've been going on benders over the weekends, and he's been living it up at the bars and clubs with them, their friends and their girlfriends. Thing is, I can't drink. Physiologically, I have a genetic mutation that makes my liver unable to metabolize the alcohol, so I only feel sick when I drink it instead of good. Alcohol intolerance, aka Asian glow. I'm Asian and he's not. Some people who have this condition drink anyway, but I feel so awful when I try, I've given up. He says he's been thinking that we might be happier if we go our separate ways, since I can't drink and he likes it. I'm in shock. He's known about me since day one. I don't feel like I act weird about it. I get my one drink to hold and sip on throughout the night so I don't look out of place, and I still have fun. I just can't do multiple rounds of shots. Up to this point, our relationship has revolved around fun activities instead of drinking. He told me that's been great, and he's done more things than ever, but then he revealed to me that this whole time he's missed being able to go out and have fun drinking like he has in other relationships. He says he had more fun in past relationships being able to party and share that with them. He says a lot of what people do for fun in Dallas is going out to bars and drinking. He's going to be doing that, so if I come, I won't be able to participate and I'll feel left out and unhappy. We haven't officially broken up, but the conversation felt pretty final. I'm reeling. Moving to Dallas still makes sense for all the same reasons, and I can afford it just fine, but I didn't expect to have to do it alone. I'm also feeling discouraged over the idea that I won't be able to make friends in Dallas if I can't drink. It's tapped into a major insecurity of mine. I've struggled in the past because the other people who don't drink either do so for religious or moral reasons, or are the kind of people who don't like going out altogether, so I don't connect with them as much. I do like to go out and have a good time, even go to raves. I just do it sober. But then if I'm in a group that's drinking, they'll feel weird if I'm not drinking too. Not gonna lie, it sucks. In my opinion, it actually bothers people, so that makes me feel bad and out of place, but I can't help how I was born. Sometimes it's hard not to feel defective. Now I'm wondering if I should still go through with the move alone. Is this going to be a major friendship barrier in Dallas? Are there people out there who are outgoing and like to be wild sometimes, but are also sober? Where do I find them? Okay, first things first, your boyfriend is an absolute idiot. Who bases, how good their relationship's going to be on whether or not they can go out and get trashed at bars and stuff? Seriously, this guy saying oh, this is what I used to do in other relationships. Yeah, because you were 21 and 22. That is what early 20s people do. You get older and you hopefully stop acting like that, or you lead an interesting life. Not a great one. Seriously. And to this person and anyone else who doesn't drink for any reason, you can go out with people who are drinking and still have fun. You can find friends who don't drink, who go out and have wild times, and still have fun. Fact is, two of my absolute best friends that I love to go out and hang out with don't drink anymore. And, they do it for their own reasons. I'm not going to get into it. That's not my story to share. I also don't drink very much anymore. I don't care to. It's not of interest to me. I partake in, maybe some other things every once in a while, but you don't have to. And seriously, those friends and I, we have gone out to bars and hung out with people who are all drinking a lot. And guess what? They don't care for the most part. In fact, sometimes if you're going out with friends who like to drink a lot and you say, I don't drink, I'll be your designated driver, they're very excited for that. It's wonderful. You don't have to drink to have fun. And if you like to drink and you're responsible with it or whatever, that's fine. I'm not judging you. But seriously, folks who don't drink, You can have a perfectly great time, and most reasonable people understand that. Unlike this boyfriend, who I think has done you a favor because he sounds like a loser. Story 2. Boss agrees with secretary that I am not the office manager, so I stopped managing the office. When I was doing my articles at a small law firm, internship to be admitted as an attorney, I was the go-to person for everything in the office, setting up computers, buying stationery, paying bills, going to court, seeing clients, etc. After being admitted as an attorney, I continued doing all this because the secretary only did about 20% of what a secretary would usually do and refused to do anything else. My boss does some shady business, don't pay taxes, etc., so he couldn't just fire her for fear of her ratting him out. He also never disciplined her. We are not in the US. Since we worked from my boss's mother's house, the secretary also spent about 50% of her day just chatting to his mother, and they became fast friends. Guess who was always the evil one that everyone ganged up on? Yours truly. I was made out to be incompetent at my job, and I used to cry a lot and almost became an alcoholic from work stress. One day, the secretary got really upset with me after I asked her to go buy stationery since we didn't have any staples, and after a heated argument told me that I'm not the office manager and should stop lording it about as if I was. Bear in mind, I was her senior both as an attorney and in number of years worked at the firm. My boss did nothing, and rather got upset with me, and so did his mother. I decided then and there that I'm done, both secretary work and my attorney work, because I was working roughly 50 to 60 hours per week, standard is 40, trying to get everything done without receiving overpay. The unemployment rate in my country is around 30%, and in the legal field, supply of lawyers exceeds demand. She knew this, and my boss knew this, but no one cared that I was basically working myself into an early grave. Cue malicious compliance. If everyone agrees that I'm not the office manager, then I will stop managing the flow of the office and only do my attorney work. I stopped paying the bills, buying the stationery, reminding my boss of important meetings, etc. Within 2 weeks, the electricity was cut off for 10 days because it wasn't paid, and my boss's elderly mother and the rest of his family had no electricity. We could also not work for those 10 days. Once the electricity went on, the phone lines were cut because of non-payment. We could not work again. The posts piled up. There was no stationery. We couldn't do service of court documents because our service providers cut us off. It went on for weeks. I simply worked around the issues and sorted my life out. One example, when the Wi-Fi was off, I used my cell phone to hotspot my laptop without telling anyone. In the end, my boss and his mother begged me to do what I used to do, but I refused. Since I was focusing more on my actual work, my fees increased and my pay increased as well. Shortly thereafter, I moved away from that office to our secondary office and worked alongside lovely colleagues who all did what they got paid to do. I've been in this new office, same firm, just a different location, for the last 2 years. I still just can't get over that the boss's office is at his mother's house. I'm sorry, if I got a job at a law firm and then the boss was just like, all right, here's the office, and that's the kitchen. Don't bother my mommy when she's baking a cake, though, and if you're very good, she might even give you a slice. Like, I'd just turn around and walk out. I'd be like, do I have to, submit my resignation in paper, or can I just draw it in crayon and put it up on the fridge? What is this? I'm sorry. It'd be better if it was just at, his house, but it's at his mom's house. And look, there's nothing wrong if you have to stay with your parents for a while as an adult. I've had to do that. But if you have a law office, I feel like that's crossing a line. That's just, I can't anymore. Story 3. Dad made a mistake 17 years ago. Mom still won't let it go. This is so funny, and I heard this story from Mom at least 20 times. Never gets old. For context, we are a Muslim family, quite the conservative one, and coming from a very conservative village. Modesty is very strictly practiced by us, and a clear boundary is put between men and women. Flirting is heavily frowned upon. This took place in Saudi Arabia, which was also a super strictly conservative country at that time. To the story. Mom and Dad had my sister, me and my younger brother, 5, 3, and 2 respectively at the time. My mom was also heavily pregnant, plus had a tumor in her left leg. We all were at a mall shopping. Mom, due to her tumor and pregnancy, was walking like a seal, her own description, as if she was tripping over herself. Meanwhile, at a mall full of women dressed in black, head to toe, even faces covered, one woman stood out. She came walking from the opposite side, slowly getting closer to us. She had her abaya unbuttoned, unzipped. She wore it under a legging that defined her legs, wore stilettos that made loud clicking sounds as she took each step, her hands nicely decorated with bracelets that created their own nice melodies. She really stood out. Not shaming anyone here. Dad suddenly started singing a song in Arabic that translates to "She walks like a deer, the walk of a maiden," which, considering my mom's condition, was definitely not directed to my mom. Mom stopped and turned to him, exclaiming, "Excuse me?" And Dad immediately got defensive. It just slipped out. Mom, that means it's exactly what you were thinking. Dad acts like the victim and tells Mom he's never taking her to the mall again. Mom, obviously mad, tells him he sounds ridiculous because he's the one flirting with women while his kids and pregnant wife walk right beside him, and then vows to let the whole world know. A few days later, we traveled back to our home country. As I said, we come from a village and word travels fast. Mom told everyone. Again, I repeat, flirting is considered really rude and is heavily frowned upon in our society at that time. And for the next 2 months, whoever saw my dad would start singing "She walks like a deer, the walk of a maiden." Dad was embarrassed and humiliated as heck. We moved back to Saudi Arabia. My dad was friends with his coworkers and their wives were friends with my mom. Mom told them 2 months ago and proceeded to narrate the story. The wives went home and told their husbands. The next day, Dad goes to work, and the moment he opens the door, his coworkers sing, "She walks like a deer, the walk of a maiden." Dad immediately calls Mom, "Please stop telling everyone," and Mom vows again she'll humiliate him over it. 17 years later, every time she meets someone new, this story is a must-say. Might not sound like much, but in our society, this is actually pretty humiliating for my dad. Very funny for us, though. Never gets old. Edit. Dad laughs about this now. He's completely over it. He's the kind of person to wear his heart on his sleeve, so I can confidently say it doesn't affect him. Thanks to everyone who's concerned and thinks it's abusive or that my parents hate each other. They don't, and they have a very healthy relationship. Yeah, I'm not gonna judge these folks. I know the internet. I know people will see this and pile on the hate, especially because it is from a country with different values. And while I do personally have my feelings about those countries' values, the individuals operating within it, I don't want to, cast aspersions upon them or judge their whole relationship based off of, one story and an ongoing joke. Because, I don't know, on the internet, we like to see just a little screenshot of someone's life and then go, I know everything about them and I'm going to judge them mercilessly. Is that what I do? I mean, not really. I try to be good about it. Don't I? Story 4. When your racket with the local cops bites you in the butt internationally. This happened a few years ago when I was serving overseas with the U.S. military. The location I was in was in a poorer area. There's a fair number of panhandlers, a lot of petty crime, and people just doing stupid crap. Well, one racket that goes on in this area, and apparently in other areas of the country too, is the local cops incentivize reporting vehicles without date inspection stickers. Apparently, they give these people access to the inspection database if they think the sticker is fake or stolen, which actually does happen. If you drive a motorbike, one of the things they tell you when you in-process is to keep the sticker in your wallet and not on the vehicle, or else it'll just get peeled off. Anyway, what those people will do if they find a car with an out-of-date sticker, or if they run the plates and find out it's out of date, they will jimmy the door open, steal every single thing out of the car, and leave a note that they've taken it to the police station. The idea is that you show up at the police station to get your stuff, and they force you to pay the fine for an overdue sticker, and then give you a deadline for an inspection, or else you'll get another fine. Well, I came out to my car one morning and lo and behold, there was a note on my seat saying that all my stuff was at the local police station because my inspection sticker was fake and I had to go get it. No, not only am I late for work, my kid is also going to be late for school because there's no bus and I have to drive her every morning on my way. Also, my inspection sticker is not out of date, so I have no idea what's going on. Now, here's the thing that was extremely problematic was I had put my passport and my wife's kids in the glove box because I was taking them to the base to get some paperwork done, as well as grab some paperwork for my wife to apply for a new passport because hers expired. I'm very forgetful, so I put them in the night before to make sure the car was locked. Yeah, dumb mistake. Anyway, I get to the station, ask them what the heck was going on, and then when I have them look at the inspection documents that the guy had taken, which clearly stated the car had been inspected and was current, they apologized and told me that they would give my things back and I had to wait there for a second. I asked to file a police report for theft, but they looked at me like I had 3 heads and told me nothing was stolen, even though somebody broke into my car and took my things. This is when a light bulb went off in my head, and this might fall into the unethical category. The guy had taken official US passports, which might have been a problem, but probably nothing would come of it since they were turned right into the police. However, I asked him where my wife's passport was. They told me that whatever is there is there. I said I needed a police report because I needed to contact the US Embassy about a stolen passport, and the fact that this police station would know exactly who stole it because they had dropped off my things that morning. I have never seen someone's attitude change as quickly as that cop's attitude changed. He tried to talk me out of filing a police report, but I was pretty insistent, so I went ahead with the police report, and then I did contact the embassy and reported the passport stolen and gave them all the information of the police station, and when I got the police report, I emailed it to them as well. Wound up getting a free passport out of it for my trouble. The embassy told me they were going to handle it, and from what I heard, the person who broke into my car actually got arrested and was fined and was looking at additional charges because he stole foreign documents. Really would have liked to have been a fly on the wall when one of the local cops rolled into wherever he was at and told him to come with them. I don't feel bad at all. Hopefully dude learned his lesson, and I did not have any further issues until I PCS'd home. Yeah, I would try not to blame other people for participating in what is a pretty crummy system set up by the police. Great job, police of that country, for just incentivizing people breaking into cars, and that is its own huge problem. But I don't want to blame the people participating because maybe they really need the money. I don't know. But man, if you're gonna do that stuff, be careful with people's legal documents, especially passports. You have to, grab a passport, look at it, and go, this might be too far, this might be too much. This is very important for those people. And my making a little money from the police is not worth giving someone that kind of a headache. And boy, if you are gonna take it, don't lose it or whatever, or steal it. That's not smart at all. Please. Ugh. Please leave your story in the comments. I would love to make a video on them in the future. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe.